let's value a bond. What's a bond? Lump sum payment at the end, annuity in the meantime, right? The interest. Okay, so let's just do a 10. Where'd it go? We just had that. I know I did. You guys see that line mark? It went away? Okay. 10-year, semi-annual. They're usually semi-annual. They don't have to be. They can be annual. They can be whatever you want to design, of course. Semi-annual, $1 million bond. And I don't care if it's a bond payable or a bond investment. It's going to be valued the same. The exchange is the same amount of money. Okay? And let's say that the market rate is 10%. And let's say the stated rate is 8%. Okay? Give me the value of that bond. Just do it. You gave everything you need down there, didn't I? Yeah. You do it real quick. Okay? I'm recording, right? So folks at home, calculate the damn bond. Catholic schools, damn.
There's worse words.
And I don't use them every once in a while. It's terrible. Hopefully not recording. I don't think I've done that yet. I don't think. You know, we did this for athletes, darn it. And look who's here. Could you guys be here from 4 to 6?
Yeah.
10-year-old 4 to 6? Remind me, send me an email. The key to 10-year-old 4 to 6. What the heck? I don't need to go home at 5 o'clock. 4 o'clock. I can sit here.
All the snow was flicking. Filling my eyes.
You want me to close the line? So if I can.
Oh, no, no. I just moved while I'm outside.
You can see everything. Yeah. Yeah. I always wear shades. Because I'm cool. Now, really, my eyes are getting old. You should wear sunglasses when you're out in the sun, especially with the snow in the sun or water in the sun. You damage your eyes, guys. All the stuff we didn't use. I got skin cancer. I had a thing on my neck. And my doctor noticed it a number of years ago. My doctor noticed it. She said, you better have that looked at. I went to see the dermatologist. He says, if I was sitting on the street, I'd have stopped you and told you to come in. Didn't to see something. That way it's supposed to come. I got a big hole in my neck. I took this piece out. It's like day surgery, what do you call it, to go in, you know?
Yeah.
You just go in and they do the thing and then you go home. Really? But they took a bunch of it, did a biopsy on it, and then we're going to do more if they thought they didn't get it all. Yeah, then they can heal. So, you never know. Be careful, guys. The doctor thought I probably got it when I was a little boy picking strawberries out in the field. No hat on. Certainly nothing over there. That's probably a good catch. Really good. Your parents probably have already destroyed you. So, be aware. Be aware.
My aunt, she used to go to Arizona every summer, and she would, sit out,
Yeah.
yeah.
My wife used to do it. She's so bad.
And I have skin problems, so I go to a dermatologist a lot, and she's like, oh, this looks weird. I was like, that looks like that. She's like, oh, don't worry about it. And after I was done talking to my dermatologist, I said, can you check this out? She didn't get it for long.
I get a couple burn-offs all the time, but those are just little.
The breathing cancer and it starts to decay, I think.
And I go in every 6 months the rest of my life. Like that. I can't tell. I have so many different things, what these things, the old age spots, I said, well, how is that cancerous? Is that going to be cancer? He laughs. No. It's old, you know? Okay, great. How do you tell? I have to go see him. I don't know. My dad gets all kinds of stuff too. You guys got value? Okay. Let's do it real quick. Whoops. What would you do? We've got what? A lump sum of $1 million. So what's that? That's a future value. When do we get it? How many periods from now? 20. Yeah, because it's times 2, right? So 20 periods. So it's a future value 20 periods from now. So n equals 20 is the way we do this, right? Now, what's my interest rate going to be? And then the future value 20 periods from now is this one, right? Okay, it's 26-month periods, 10 years. Okay, and then which are we going to use, the market or the stated rate to determine the discount rate? Market. The market rate is the discount rate, of course, because that's what the market expects to earn, but it's for half a year, so what's it going to be? Yeah, because rates are always listed on an annual basis, unless they say per month or something. And they'll never say per quarter or per 6 months or something weird like that, but they might say per month. Okay, what are we going to use the stated rate for?
For the interest payments.
Yeah, to determine what the interest payment is. So what it's going to be is $1 million times 8% a year, right? Which is 80,000. But it's semi-annual, so how much is it? 4%. It's going to be 4%, isn't it? Right? So this is interest rate that I'm going to use for discounting, right? This is to calculate my interest payment. So the interest payment is 40,000. But remember, it's 40,000 per 6 months. How many 6-month periods? That's a 6 months. There's 20 of them, so it's 20, right, payments. By the way, is this an annuity if the interest rate doesn't change? We assume the 10% market stays the same the whole time, right? For this deal, it does anyway if we don't sell it, right? If we invest in it, if we don't sell it, or if we borrow the money, if we don't repay it early, right? The interest rate's going to stay the same. We assume that it's going to stay the same, right? That the deal was based on, and the payment's always the same. It's always 40,000. So what does that make this thing? An annuity. And then we have what kind of an annuity? Seeing as the payment's at the end, it is a ordinary annuity. So this is going to be an ordinary annuity payment, isn't it? And we have it made. We've got an ordinary annuity payment, and we have a lump sum, don't we? Those are the two things we have. And we're going to value both of them, add them together, right? This is a real common question on the CPA exam. Therefore, on my exams, I'll probably give you this stuff. What's 20 payments, though, times 40,000? What are we really valuing here? It's $800,000. You guys agree? What does this bond pay off? $1,800,000. No matter what its present value is, that's what it pays off. And the difference between its present value and what it pays off is what? It's the discount, but what else? What do we mean by discount? The amount of interest earned, right? It's it, isn't it? The interest is not $800,000. That's the cash payment.
Yeah.
The interest is the difference between the present value and the total amount paid of $1.8 million. Got it, guys? Just intuitively got it. See how far you can come? Remember when you were in principles and we were doing this? You know, what is he doing? What's going on? Look where you're at now. Now I say something like that, and oh yeah, so tell me something I don't know, right? And maybe there's one more little piece, right? One more little, I got it. I got that, right? Better. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I wasted your time. Okay, future value $1 million, right? This is the lump sum. So what do I want to do? Discount it. What's going to be? I am going to calculate the present value at time 0 of this puppy, aren't I? Interest rate? What are we discounting at? Be careful. 5% real or effective, right? Or yield rate, right? Market rate. Not the stated rate, of course. The stated rate is just to get the cash flow. Okay, and then the number of periods, what is it? Not 10 years, 20 periods. Excellent. So go look up the factor. It's 1 over 1.05 raised to the 20th. You can look up the factor or you can use your calculator. You guys are using calculators? You've got a book too. You're doing both? Okay. What's the factor? For people who want to use the tables, you're on a present value of a sum table, aren't you? Present value of $1.
0.37689.
37689. What's worth 37.38 cents? 37.7 cents?
$1.
$1 received. How many periods from now? 20 periods from now. Discounted at
5%.
5%. So how much interest would you earn on that 38-cent investment? I guess 62 cents. You guys with me? That's it. You'd have triple your money. Well, yeah. It's a long time, right? Okay. So what's the whole $1 million worth? Each dollar's worth 38 cents. Well, it's worth 376,890. Am I right? Okay. So then we need to do the annuity and add it to that, right? What's the annuity? The annuity payment is how much? And ordinary or due?
Ordinary.
Ordinary, because payments are at the end. So you constantly ask yourself that, okay? When you're doing these calculations, wait a minute, when was it? Okay, so how much?
40,000.
40 grand. Okay, times what? Present value of an ordinary annuity factor, right?
4%, 20 periods.
4? Careful.
5.
5%.
Okay, so you use
Right.
5.
Sure, 4% is only to figure out how much your cash flow there was.
Okay, yeah.
That's printed on the bond. It's the stated rate. You with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. Okay, good. Okay, by the way, everybody watching this at home is going to really appreciate your questions, so ask them. Okay? All right, so anyway, we got people that couldn't get here because of the course. So I got an email from, I can't remember her name.
Darcy.
Yeah, Darcy. Can't remember her name. Anyway, sorry, Darcy. Anyway, Darcy's going to be watching this, right? So yeah, she couldn't make it, so business. So N equals how many payments? 20, right, guys? What's that factor? You look it up. Present value of an ordinary annuity.
12.46221.
What's worth $12.46? $20. Received what? $1 at the end of each period for 20 periods, all discounted at 5%. So 20 bucks is worth $12.40. Everybody agree? $12.46. How much interest would there be? $7.54. This is good, isn't it? You got this really solid. Okay, take that times 40,000, you find out what all the payments are worth. And we're finding out what this 800,000 is worth, right? Okay, good. How much is that?
498,488.
488?
Yeah, I think 40 cents.
Okay, yeah, please round. What's the whole bond worth to even dollars? Add the 376 and the 498. That's all you have to do, isn't it?
875, 378.
Don't be fuzzy on this. Know exactly what you're doing and do it. Okay? Do that with everything. Why is that 12? You know, 12 is 60% of the 20. See that? And on the present value of the sum, it was only 40%. 0.378. 377. Why? Why is this one 60% of the value, and this one's only about 40% of the value? That's funny. That's not. Makes
It's an
sense.
annuity, not lump sum.
It's an annuity, not a lump sum. The lump sum, how long do we wait? 26-month periods, right? Problem. How long do you wait on the $20 that you're going to get here in this annuity? The first payment is when? 6 months from now. The second payment, 2 6-month periods. The third payment, 3 6-month periods. The last payment, 26-month periods. So only the last payment is 37 cents each dollar, right? The first one's worth a lot of money. It's 95 cents or something, right? You gotta see it, get it intuitively. We're good, huh? Is this helpful at all? Okay. Did you have the right answer? No. How about you? Well, what did you do wrong? I taught you how to do this 2 semesters
I
ago.
forgot I used the 4%.
You used the 4% instead of the 5 because you think the stated rate is what you discount things at instead of what the market would expect to earn. You don't believe that. See, let yourself think. Don't remember how to do something. Think about what must be the case. You don't have to remember. Nobody has a big enough memory. So you did it all the way through?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you got $1 million value.
No, I had like 925 or something like that.
Did you use 5% for one and 4% for the other?
Yeah, I used 5 for the first and then 4 for the
Yeah, that makes no sense whatsoever. Yeah. Okay, good. All right, good. At least you realize that. That's good. See, if you were working for me, I'd tell you that, laugh at you until you go fix it, right? And then you wouldn't do it anymore. By the way, never let the pressure get to you. Just do it, right? Figure it out. Just basically believe it. What'd you do wrong? All the way through? Did you get the million? Or did you use 5 and 4 also, like you did? Okay, all right. I'm a total failure again. Okay, every time. Why did they let me keep doing this year after year? I'm not a failure until you do it and it quits. Okay, I like that.
I have a one-on-one question that I should know by heart.
Sure.
If the stated is less than the market, that is a...
Then who wants the bond? Nobody, because they want to earn more. So what happens when they bid up? They bid less and less and less until what? They make the effect, right? Until the rate goes up and up, right? What if the stated is more than the market? Everybody is thrilled, and what do? Everybody wants to buy it. They bid the price up and up and up until it earns exactly market, right? Did I do it?
Yeah.
No, that's good. And it, not memorized, understood, right? Yeah, that's what would happen, right? Nobody wants the price to go down. Everybody wants the price to go up. Down is discount, up is premium, huh? Yeah, good. Okay, we're there. That's good. All right. You guys are both getting to a point where it'd be really nice to hire. Already, right? Already. You keep doing this all the way through 211, 212, 313, you have a really nice job by the time that you got there, right? They'll figure it out really fast, okay? And when they look at your GPAs, they're kind of looking, those guys know what our GPA is, right? I did it for them. They know. And they'll be like, yeah, what, how'd you do with Richardson? He's a real ass, isn't he? You can laugh and say, yeah. But I know a lot. Say, yeah, well, yeah, wasn't worth it, you know, or something. Anyway, okay. Let me make up a horrendous problem for you, okay? And you give this a shot. How old are you guys, about 19, 20?
20 at the end of the month.
18 and 19. Okay. Let's say that you would like to retire when you're 55. Does that sound good?
Early.
Yeah, that's real early. You know, you might be more like 70, but if you make enough money, you save enough money. So let's say right now you are 18 years old, okay? That's not going to be realistic because you can't start investing money when you're 18, can you?
Yeah, you can.
Well, you can, except you probably don't have much to invest because you're paying for school, which is a big investment and really worthwhile. Don't get me wrong. Putting all your money into going to school, it's going to really pay off big, right? But let's say 22. You're starting work, okay? Your first job, okay? Let's say at 22 years old, you start work. Start investing. Got it? Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to retire because we're going to be so responsible when you're 55 years old. So all you have, you guys, is 33 years that you can invest, right? That's it. It's not very long. And then you're going to live another 35 years after that. Wow. Doesn't sound as bad now, does it? Okay? You should stay healthy and all that. Okay? So 55 seems like forever, except, you know, think how long you might live. My dad's 90, right? You know, and he's still got some money left. Good for him, right? Did okay, not a lot, but still some money left. He's not leaving me any. I want him to live and spend every single penny. And so does my brother, right? So anyway, I don't know about my other sibling. My brother takes care of me, and I want him to live forever. Okay, so anyway, I'm kidding. They want him to live too. They just don't believe himself. 33 years, okay? So let's say you do, let's see, 5 years, you're going to invest in the stock market, and you are going to earn 12% per year, okay? And you are going to invest at the end of each year, because you have to earn it first, $5,000. Got it? So that's the first 5 years. Second, 10 10 years because you have been very successful. You're going to keep investing in the stock market. You're going to earn 12%. Over time, the stock market earns 6-7% more than risk-free. And in a normal, if there were such a thing, economy, that's around 12. Market is around 12 to 13% a year. Has over the last 30-some years, maybe 40 years. Okay, this is also going to be at the end of the year. But you doubled your salary, so you double your deposits. Okay, you've been real successful. Okay, so now we're 15 years. Third 10 years, you double it again. 12%. End of each year, $20,000. In your last 5 years, you're going to work, or 3 years, you're going to work, right? No, 8 years, 6 years, or 25. You're just going to leave it in the stock market. So I'm going to make that part simple. It's going to be at the end of each year, and you're really plumping it down now. Okay? 30,000. You know, you're making $200,000 to $300,000 a year, maybe. That's $200 million. Okay. So there's inflation in here, but this is without inflation. Okay, this is just real. Okay, so it'd be more if you have inflation. You need to up it. All right, and all the money that you've earned these are going to be what, by the way? End of year. Same payment each time. What is it? It's an ordinary annuity. They're all ordinary annuities. Each ordinary annuity at the end of the term is going to get invested, right? Okay? That makes sense? Okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to get conservative. I don't know why. But you're going to convert to a much lower risk investment, and you're going to earn 8%. Okay? Oh, by the way, die. This is our estimate of when we're going to die. And you have to do that, right? Make sense? We're going to estimate that we're going to die at 90. Does that sound good? Not great, but good. It's okay. Which gives you how many years after you're done investing? We said 55 to 90 is 35 years, isn't it? You guys with me? So for the next 35 years, you're going to earn 8%, right? For the 35 years of retirement. It was 35, wasn't it? Okay. Here's what I'd like you to do. How much is your annual annuity, assuming what you want to do is you want to really go on a really nice trip at the beginning of your retirement in case you die real soon. That's my plan. Okay. How is your annual annuity assuming you take the payments at the beginning of the year? Got it? Annual annuity for the rest of your life, right? And you know the sad thing about this, if you live past 90, you are now on Social Security, right? Because you're broke. So you might not really quite do this, but you might decide not to take quite so much out. My wife's home. You guys just started. You doing anything else, do you? One number I want. Think about what you have to do. Hi there. How you doing? You already leave? Oh, okay. Yeah, these guys are working on a problem for a few minutes. You want to just come now before you get all your coat up and get comfortable and everything? You'll be able to find. Okay. I'll be down there in 10 minutes maybe? Okay, it's 35 after. I'll be down there at quarter till. So. Okay, sounds good, baby. Bye-bye. If she knew the mean things I'd say about her, she would be so nice to me. Spoiled you. What's really cool about this problem is you get a real idea of what you really should do. I don't know if it's going to be enough money. I don't think so. I think the payments will be just awful. Let me do this. Salary. 50,000. You're giving up 5. This is probably 90,000. You're giving up 10. This is probably 150,000. You're giving up 20. See, I'm taking a bigger percentage each time. And then here you might be making 180,000 in today's dollars, right? You're giving up 30. Okay, that'd be a nice salary progression, don't you think? You'd be in pretty good shape. That's real, you guys. If you work your asses off, go out there and stick with it. Divorce, your children hate you, etc.
So when you convert the 8%, is that you add up all the numbers and then?
Well, when does the 8% start? When did you get conservative?
Retired.
When at the point you retired, you decided to get 8%. So what are you going to earn until then?
So you add up all the earnings before.
Oh yeah, you're going to have 12. So I'm going to earn 12 on the annuity, and then I'm going to earn 12 on investments. And what I could do to make this worse, you guys, is I could change. I could say, oh, I think it's going to be 12, then I think it's going to be 13, then I think it's going to be 11, then I think it's going to be 14 for some unknown reason. When I take out my crystal ball. So this is a little easier, right? We could be changing the interest rates. But I've already got different numbers of periods, don't I? I've got 2 different interest rates, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 annuities, and then I've got, so what do you want to do? Calculate the future value of all the annuities, and then remember, you're going to invest that up through your retirement. You're not taking any out, right? So have it grow until you retire, and then you have this huge sum, right, that you're going to calculate your annuity payment with, and that's it, right? So you see how wealthy you're going to get by the time you're 55, and then you see how much what that's going to buy you for the rest of your life, huh? For the next 35 years. I wish I'd really done more. It's not that I wish I'd stayed a public accounting for the teaching, but I wish I had started investing when I was just 22 instead of 30. I guess it was. I lost a lot of wealth, over $1 million. By not investing those years.
When you started investing, did you start in penny stocks, or
No,
did you?
No, I started in TIA crap that I'm in now. I was already a college professor. I spent it until I quit making money. That was dumb, wasn't it? Cut my salary to less than half. Started investing. That's crazy.
I'm confused about like the last question. How much is your annual annuity?
Well, if you found out, yeah, I'm going to have an annuity. What kind of annuity is this going to be at the payments at the beginning of the period? Due. And you're going to calculate the payment of an annuity due. That's like a due. But how do you know how much you're investing at that point? What's the present value at that point? It's what all this grows to. So calculate what all this grows to by the end of 33 years when you're 55, and then tell me what the annuity is. The calculation is simple. Because you'll know what that future value will then be a present value at that time, right? Then come up with your annuity payment at 8% for 35 payments. What's it going to be? Yeah. But first you have to calculate the first annuity, and then the second annuity, third annuity, fourth annuity, right? And then you have to extend those annuities out through the end of the term, right? I do that too. And you got to add all that together. And that'll tell you how much you have when you retire. And that's what you're going to buy your annuity with at that point, right?
I think I have the answer.
You think you got an answer already? Cool. check it. If you want, what you could do is you could change these a little bit. Make this one 11, this one 13, this one 12. Get the idea? Make that one 14 or something, and do the calculations. It's no big deal. It's just keeping it straight, right? It's just keeping. But remember, if we change these rates, as soon as you know this one, then the next 10 years would be at whatever this rate is. And then the following 10 years would be this, and then the last 8 years would be whatever this one is. So if I change them, you have to keep changing, right? Here you can just say what? The first 5 years is 12%, and then that lump sum I have at the end of this 5 years is going to be there for how many more years? Well, it's 33 total. It's 28 more years, right? Then this one at the end of it is going to be there for 18 more years, and this one at the end of it is going to be there for 8 more years.
Wait, so you're doing these all like repeatedly, like?
Well, of course. When the annuity at the end of the first 5 years, you're not going to just let that money sit there and not grow. You're going to keep it invested, right? Now it's a lump sum, right? Right? Now it's a future value 5 years from now, but at that point it's a present value at that time, right? And it's going to grow into a future value over the next 28. Maybe you don't have the answer yet.
Okay, yeah.
It's much bigger, isn't it? Much bigger. The growth on that is just going to be massive. What kind of number did you get for your annuity?
I got 62,000
Oh,
for like an interest, like your payment.
that doesn't look like enough.
I got
Okay.
13,709,189.
And then you get 62,000 out of a 13 million? Really?
Wait, I get the ending of 927,000 from all of your investments, like before your retirement. And then I got the annuity value is like 14.78 something. So 927 divided by that for the annuity payment was like 62,000.
That's something right there. I hope. Either that or
Yeah, I'm pretty
nearly
sure
enough
I think I messed it up because I just like added them together like I did the.
Yeah, you've got to take it out clear to the end of the 33 years. This has to be the end of 33,
Okay.
end of 33,
Yeah,
end of 33, end of 33. Add them all up, and you know what? The whole thing is the end of 33. Then calculate your annuity payment. That sounds too low, but I don't know. It could be. Maybe my numbers aren't big enough, but it still sounds too low.
I didn't realize. I didn't do it was like three, but like I don't know. I said it was like single sums each, and then added like all the sums up.
That's what I can do.
Yeah. So like three.
So I'm doing this right now.
She knows how hard this is going to be. just got that.
Wasn't like us.
I'm assuming you get 30.
You guys got it?
Possibly.
And I complain.
She bought food.
Yeah. You know, walk the dog, looking for food. That's good. Yeah. I guess that's not taking it. Okay, anyway, so what answers you guys get?
Working on it again.
Did you get something? What kind of payment did you get? Annuity payment.
The last one? Oh.
What are we gonna have? You know,
So,
the end of the problem.
I did end payment first, so she probably just at the beginning.
Yeah. Beginning of the year. That's because we went to take a trip around the world. We were taking the first payment and then, you know.
That sounds like fun.
I went there and go spend a month in Ireland or something.
Good. That's,
If I live on it, no.
you're gonna live a long time.
I think if I keep doing this, I'll live longer. Instead of sitting at home, eating and drinking. You get something you like.
No, not yet. So, wait, so 5 years, so for 5 years you did that. Then for 2 years.
Okay, what you did. See, now this is the hard thing on
So-
present value and future value
So
problems
for
in general.
Hold on.
Figuring out what happened.
Yeah.
What happened? Okay, I'm investing $5,000 a year for 5 years. That's 25 grand, right?
Right.
Now, what's going to happen is the first payment goes in at the end of the first year, and it's going to sit there, right, really until I retire. So you could just take that and do it 12% till you retire if you want, right? But probably what you do, and the second payment's going to be there not for 33 years, but 32, and the third payment's going to be there for 31. So you can do it that way if you wanted.
Wait, the second's going to be there for 32 years?
Wait a minute. The
Yeah.
first one's going to be there for 32. I'm sorry, it's in the first year. The second one for 31. The third one for 30. Right? How many years are left?
What was the
Till
second one
retirement.
for 30? That's
Well, the first one, the first payment of these 5 is going to be at the end of the first year.
okay.
You'll have
The second's
32
at the
years
end
till
of-
you retire.
The second's at the end of the second year?
And so if it's at the end of the second year, then you'd have
Okay,
31 years
I
left.
didn't know it was at the end of the second year. I see that now.
And the third payment is going to be at the end of the third year, so you'd have 30 years left. You got the
Okay,
idea?
I misread that. I was thinking like 10 years in is when you started putting the 10,000 in, so I was,
Oh, no, you're starting right at the beginning. You're putting, well, you're putting 5 in for 5 years, right? So what you could do is you could calculate the future value of an ordinary annuity of $5,000, right, for 5 years. So what's that 25 going to be at the end of 5 years? Did you calculate that?
31,764.
Okay, good. And then what you would do is you would compound that for the next 28 years at 12%. So take that sum, treat it as though it were a present value now, because it's a present value at that time,
That
right?
would be 758,650.
Okay, that's what the first one grows to. Okay, the first 25,000.
Right, so the second one's
Yeah.
in the second year.
The second starts 10 years out, right?
Wait, it starts 10 years out?
Oh yeah, well 5 years out, I'm sorry. So it's the 6th year through the 15th year, isn't it? Right? Does that make sense?
So you do the present.
So then do a future value of $10,000, put deposited 10 times, so what's that 100,000 going to grow to at 12%, right? Over 10 years.
I get that, but
But then how long is that one going to sit?
So it was at the.
You only have 18 years left on that one till you retire, right? And that's true, isn't it?
It was 27 years.
No,
That's
you're
at
not
the
even
very
at the
end of-
end of the year,
Oh, got
even
it.
though the deposit's the end of the
Okay,
year.
so it's 33 less 15.
You got it.
Okay,
The last, so now what we've got is 18 more years, right?
yeah.
Okay, and then the next one, the third one, you do exactly the same thing, 10,000 for 20 years, right? Okay, what's that going to be? And then you're going to leave that only for 8 more
You
years.
mean 20,000 for 10 years?
Yeah, 20,000 for 10 years, sorry, at 12%. Ordinary annuity, right, future value. But then you're only going to have 8 more years for that to grow, right? And then on the last one, you'll do an 8-year annuity future value, and that's what it's going to be worth when you retire.
Yeah.
Then you add together those 4 annuities, right? That's how much money you have at the end of 33 years when you retire, when you're 55 years old.
Okay? Then what you do is you compute what sort of an annuity due payment you could buy, right? At 8% for 35 years. Do our tables go to 35 years? No.
Yeah.
They do, they really? Good.
Get the 40.
Yeah, it's 35?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And it has 12%, 8%.
Yeah, that's 1 through 40, and then up to 15%.
Okay, so we're good.
15.
All right. So you calculate this thing.
Yeah.
You think you have it?
Not yet.
Okay, keep working. Everybody at home,
Now
keep working.
that I actually understand what
I'm a failure. But now you see what the cash flows are. And see what gets you? Is not knowing what happened. It's not being able to calculate. Big deal. Especially if you're using a calculator. Big deal. Because you got to know when the payments happen, how much they are, and remember, if you reach the end of an annuity, and you're not going to use the money for a while, it's not going to just sit there. Think in a business. You know, if you invested this money, you wouldn't do nothing when it ends, and have it, you know, it earns nothing, right? And we can do the same thing on the cost side, right? Cash out and cash in. And then we'll do another one. I'll make up another monster for you, or find another monster for you. Maybe we'll find another book. So read along. If you're at home and you're a finance type, you already did this thing. Some good ones. Problem, oh man. Problem 6.6 we'll probably do in here. 7.6.7 is good. These are problems on page 328, 329. 6.7 is good. 6.9 is good. Yeah, but any of them really. You could do the pension stuff. You could 6.11. You could do the lease versus purchase on 6.10. Everything is just. These are nice problems to back this up. There's all kinds of things you can do. So just dive in and go out of them, basically. 6.1's okay, and 6.2 they're a little more straightforward. So to get you started, I see next to the problems here. I have a check mark, all circled. I do them all. Whatever you guys. And then you can do it too. But after you do this, we'll do that one. We'll get started. We'll try 6.6. I guess we'll have to actually calculate this too. Figure. Said it in the earlier session, so just making sure it's got to work. Again, I think the way I'd approach it is to get a terminal value for each of the annuities, then extend it to the end of years I'm working, to retirement age, then add them together. I think I do it in that order. There are a variety of ways you can do this, but that probably works best. Yeah, there's a whole variety of ways you can approach this. You can do each year independently if you want.
So for the last 8 years, you wouldn't do any lump sum future value?
No, because that's when you're retired.
Yeah.
So you're done, and immediately you invest it, right? And immediately you take your first payment. So it's kind of silly. You make your last investment of $30,000, then you take your first annuity payment. I just want you to do what you do. Right? So it's early. We have an annuity due table, don't we? I thought it was future value. I thought we had a present.
We have future value of ordinary, not annuity due.
Oh,
Oh, wait, we do.
Present value.
Present
this is
value.
present value. Yeah, this is present value. Yeah, they only left one of the tables out. I don't know why. Doesn't matter. This is fine.
Noodles and noodles.
Yeah.
So you want us to take the ending total, you immediately reinvested it 8% for the 35 years,
Yeah.
and it's,
In an annuity, it's going to pay you 8%, right? Interest on what you have left in. But of course, you're taking out a payment at the beginning of every year. So your annuity's getting, your investment's getting smaller and smaller. And it'll go to zero. That's what it tells you, right? How much can I take out every year for the next 35 years and have exactly nothing left at the end? Like I said, now you're living on Social Security when you're 91.
so I would take the ending times the future value of an annuity at 8% for 35 years.
Well, you want an annuity payment. So if I know my present value at that time, my lump
Yeah,
sum
I have
then is
that.
the present value. So what payment times the annuity due factor for 8% 35 years equals the amount you have to invest. Right?
Okay.
Is that how you set it up?
What
It's going to look like this.
annuity due, okay, so the annuity.
My annuity due payment,
Present value of an ordinary annuity at 8%.
whatever it is going to be an amount that times an annuity due factor. And this is going to be a present value at that time. And this can just drive you crazy, right? Because you're envisioning 33 years from now is then the present, right? Okay? That factor, interest rate 8% because we got conservative. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave mine in at stock market rates.
Right.
Right.
I've got that.
Just take my chances. If the money goes away, the money goes away. You lose too much by not, you can take a risk as far as I'm concerned. N equals what? A lot of people disagree with me on that, by the way. N equals 35. So you look up that factor and you divide it into your present value at that time. It's a present value 35 periods from now. You could write PV 35 or 33 periods from now. You could write PV 33 if you want. A lot of people find that confusing. What did you guys get out there anyway?
Hold on.
What do you think it's worth
Present value.
that you have when you retire? How much do you have?
I'm still working on it. No, that, honestly, the
What are you
bottom part
doing?
makes sense to me. The top I cannot figure
Oh,
out.
well, we've got to get that number first. We have two
Yeah.
unknowns. Okay. Okay, again, how much do you have?
307,668 for the annuity.
307,668. And what'd you get for your present value of the sum?
3,872,598.53.
Okay, so how did you get anywhere close to this, or you're not there yet?
No.
Okay, so what's the process? calculates the future value of an annuity for 5 years at 5,000, right? That gives you what you're going to have 5 years from now. How many years more do you have to retirement? 28. So you compound that amount for 28 periods at 12%. That'll tell you how much that first one's going to turn into in 33 years.
You would do it at 29 periods if it was if it was annuity due, right?
No, because what happens is we always value it at the end of the year. It's
Okay.
just when the payment's
So
made.
it'll be 20.
Annuity due means that you put the money in at the beginning, and
Or
ordinary
don't have
annuity means
interest
you
for
put it
a
at the end.
period, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but it's already in the factor. You don't have to do anything to it. It's already in the factor. Right? The factors are different by exactly
Yeah.
1 year's interest.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have less money at the end if it's an ordinary annuity than if it's an annuity due. Right? If you're investing.
Yeah.
If you're taking it out, the reverse is true. Right? So there's either one more period of interest if you're investing, or if you're pulling it out, there's one less period of interest. Okay, now do you see what you need to do?
Yeah.
So let's do the first one, okay? Here we go with the first one. This is the first annuity, okay? This one right here. So that first annuity. Okay, so what I have is an ordinary annuity payment, right? How much is it? $5,000. I'm going to grow this thing, right? So I want the future value of an ordinary annuity factor, right? Where the interest rate is how much? 12%. And we could vary these interest rates, who cares? It just makes more calculations, right? Okay? And the number of periods is how long? 5 years, okay? So I get that factor, and that will give me a future value 5 periods from now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. What's that factor?
31,764.
That's this one. 31,764 approximately? Is that what you got too?
Yeah.
Okay, and so now what was the factor anyway? If you looked at 12% 5, do you use a factor or do you use a calculator?
3.176. Wait.
Whoops, that doesn't sound right. Not big enough.
I mean,
If you look it up on the table, you are on, for those who are going to use tables, huh? You are on the future value of an ordinary annuity table, 12%, 5 periods.
6.35.
And what that is 5 future value factors added together, right?
Right.
It's a 12% factor for 1 period, 2 periods, 3 periods, 4 periods. Well, I take it back. It's 1 plus 1 for 1 period, 1 for 2 periods, 1 for 3 periods, 1 for 4 periods, because these are payments at the end, right? So there's only 4 years interest on the first payment, right? 3 on the second, down to none on the last one, okay? Then what we do is we treat this thing, this 31,764, as a present value as of that date, right? So it's a present value as of that date. 31,764 is how much you'd have in your retirement account at the end of 5 years, right? How much interest would you have earned? You put in 25 grand, you got 31,764, you'd have earned 6,764, right? Okay. Take that times what?
The
1 plus the interest rate raised to the number of periods that it's going to grow for, right? What's that? 1.12 raised to the 28, because we have 28 years until we retire. That'll give us a future value now, really, at the end of 33 years, which is when we retire, right?
Right.
That makes sense, because we have 5 years plus 28. Okay? What's the factor? Now, this would be the present value of a sum factor. Oops, I'm sorry. This would be the future value of a sum table that we go to. Am I right? You want to use the tables, or just input to your calculator, 12%, 28 periods, right? You want the future value. The present value is 31,764. So what's that factor? 23. We're going to have 23 times our money in 28 years. Is that right? Okay, 23 point, and you're on the future value of a sum, not an annuity.
I just did
Oh,
the
okay.
1.12.
1.12 raised to 28.
Yeah.
Okay, 23 point.
88387.
Okay, Okay, so every one of those dollars will become $24. And see how you get rich, right? So take 31,764 times 23.88387. This is assuming the market's going to earn 12% forever, though. Maybe it won't. What's it going to be?
758,647.14 cents.
Okay, and now that's the amount that we have to invest in our annuity, right? From the first, right? From the first 5 deposits, okay? So then what we do is we would do the second one. So here's our first annuity. Let's do our second annuity and see what we get. And this should go really fast now. What do we do? It's 10,000, right? Second one was 10 grand. First was 5. Okay, so what we've got is an ordinary annuity payment into the periods. Hello? Okay, so it's $10,000. I was just making fun of you for not being here a little while ago. So when you listen to this video, you can hear me say, these athletes didn't even come. Okay,
No.
but you are here. Okay, so 10,000. We were going to just change all of it till later, actually. Okay, so 10,000. I don't cut you any slack, yeah. 10,000 times what? A future value of an ordinary annuity, right, guys? And I left the interest rate at 12%. If I make it something else, who cares, right? Just relax and use them. N is 10, isn't it? What's that factor? It's 10 factors added together, isn't it? Right? What do you get then?
Do you want the actual factor?
Yeah, doesn't matter. You're close. Put your calculator in the actual one. 12%, 10 periods, future value of an ordinary annuity. I wrote him a little problem, just to look familiar. I did something like this last semester too.
Yeah, I was going to ask you to go over this too.
Yeah.
That was the problem that I had that we did on the quiz and the test
Yeah.
and the exam.
I know.
And I didn't know how to do it, and I was getting frustrated.
You're going to know now. I like these things. I think they're neat. And, what factor do you get? 12% next year. See it?
17.5487.
5487. Take that times 10,000. That's what you're right. Each one of the dollars is going to be $17, but there's $10,000 you're putting in, right, each time. So what's the whole 100,000 going to grow to? 175,487. That's just at the end of the 10 years, right? That's a future value 10 years out. How many years do they have left, though? So we now treat that as a present value at time 0, the way you could think about it. 487, I'm sorry. Okay, take that number, right? And what are we going to do to it? We're going to compound it, aren't we? How many years? How many are left? So we've used up 5 years, plus we've used up 10 years, 15 are gone. How many are left? 18 more years, right? So it's a future value of an ordinary, future value of a lump sum, I'm sorry. Future value of a lump sum at what? Just like up here. Take it times 1.12, but this time it's going to be raised to the what? 18th, right? Interest rate 12%. Number of periods 18. You could go to the table and look it up. It's for the present value of a sum again, right? You guys good? Okay, so what's that factor?
7.68997.
Okay, 7.68997. So every dollar is going to grow to $8, right? So how much are you going to have? You have 175, and you take it times 7.68997. What's the future value going to be, in other words, 33 years from now, right? Okay, I know it's 10 years on the annuity, and then 18 growing after that is 28, but that's because you waited 5 years before you started this one, right? Okay, how much does that grow to?
349,490.
Okay, so now what I have is 758,647 from the first annuity and 1,349,490 from the second one. True? You add those two together, so now I'm over $2 million that I can invest in my retirement, and we're going to keep going. The problem is there are fewer years for this other stuff to grow by. I'm putting in more, which you need to do is you make more, of course, but you don't have as long for it to grow. The important stuff's the early stuff, kind of. Okay, so then what will we do? Let's add another one. And what is it going to be? 10 years at 12% of 20,000, right? So let's add another one. No. Oh well. That's fine. We'll do it that way. Okay, anyway, and we can flip back and forth. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a what? What do I do right down here first? It's going to be a ordinary, same process, ordinary annuity payment. How much is it for the third annuity? 20,000. Here it is. How many years am I going to invest? 10 more. That's 200 grand that I'm going to get the future value of, right, guys? Take that times the future value of an ordinary annuity factor, right? Where the interest rate still equals 12%, but again, I could vary the interest rates, so it made the math a little more annoying. Okay, number of periods is 10, right? And then what's that going to do? It's going to have it grow to what? A future value 10 years out. Same deal, right? Okay, so what's that factor?
17.5484.
Does that factor sound familiar to you? Seeing as it's 12% for 10 periods and the last one was the same thing, it's exactly the same thing, isn't it? This one's going to be worth twice as much, isn't it? Because it's 20,000 instead of 10. It's the same interest rate, same number of periods. Okay, so how much is that one going to be worth?
350,975.
Okay, that's going to grow to 359.75. But we don't have as long to invest it, do we? How many years are left? There's only 8 more years, am I right? It's true, isn't it? So what I've got, treat that as a present value at that time. Present value 28 years, 25 years from now. Present value 25 years from now, right? How many years are left? 8, right? 8 more years to retirement. So that's 350. I'm just taking it right down there, right? 350,975. And I'm going to compound this thing and get a future value. How many years from now? How many years do I have left, you guys? 8. So I'm going 8 years. N equals 8. I left the interest at 12%. Again, it could be something else. Who cares? Okay? Make some math like that. So it's going to be 1.12 raised to the 8th, whatever that factor is. If you go to present value of a sum table, you can find N of 8 periods, right? And I of 12%. What do you get? What's that factor?
2.47596.
So in 8 years of 12%, you have 2.5 times your money. That's what happens. Okay? Stock market's a lovely thing when it keeps working, 12, 13% a year. So what's 359.75? By the way, you know how much we grew in the last 7 years of Obama's presidency? 3 times. Factor of 3. Incredible rate of return, isn't it? In 7 years. Wow. That's because the market was unrealistically low at the end of the Bush administration because of all the bank frauds, right? I call them frauds. Subprime loan nonsense. You know, they just really destroyed the market for a while. It took a long time for it to recover. So that's not real growth. Okay? Probably, it was a bit overpriced, though, at 14 or 15 or whatever it was before the bottom fell, 15. It was too high, probably. Now, it might be right. You know, like normal growth without that big dip and the big rise. So I don't give Obama credit for it. Give anybody credit for that. Except for the people who stole all the money, maybe them. What's 359.75 times 2.47596?
869,000
Even?
0.06.
Oh, 0.06. Oh, well, okay. Depends which factor you use. Yeah, but okay. Yeah, okay, sure. All right, so about $869,000 for that one. And that's when, though, guys. This is not really at the end of 8 years, is it? When is it? It's really out now how many years? we're 33. That's all the way out. So that's all that one's going to grow to. You guys with me? Okay? Because we figured out what it is for you, right? Just got here. We figured out what it is at the end of the annuity period, right? And then we compounded it for the rest of the years that are left. And that's what we did with each of them. Okay? So we've got the first two here. Is that the first one? 10-year semi-annual. That's a bond. I don't want to go back there. That was an earlier problem. Okay, so here are the first two. Okay. No, that's the last one. Here's the first two. Here's the first annuity was $758. The way we did it was we said the first payment was $5,000, right? It was for 5 periods at 12%. So at the end of the annuity term, we had $31,764. Okay. Then we invested it for another 28 years because there's 28 years left, right? 33 to retirement. They're going to retire at 55. You too. Okay. You're going to start investing at 22, retire at 55, and then you're going to live for another 35 years to your 90. Okay. Probably live longer, but you're going to run out of money when you're 90 because then it's your kids' problem to worry about. Live on Social Security or something. Okay. Ridiculous situation. So anyway, so we got the 758. See it? The second one is 10,000, but it's for 10 years, right? So that one's going to be 100,000. We compounded it for 10 years at 12%, right? And we figure out it's going to be worth 175,487 at the end of those 10 years, which is 15 years from now, or 15 years from when you start investing. Okay? And then we compound that one for the time that we have left, which was how many years, guys? 18, I guess? Because we're 15 years out. And we figure out what that one's worth. You see it? So we've got 1 here, 2 here, right? Second annuity. And then we did the third annuity too, which this was annuity 3, wasn't it? Everybody good? Third. Yes.
Okay.
First, second, third.
So
Could you do the fourth one?
yeah, okay. Just making sure I'm on the right track still. When you say it's worth after the first payment, the first 28 years that you compounded, that is worth it.
This is at the end of 33 years at 758.
At that price.
Yeah, if I invest 5,000
Yeah.
for 5 years at 12%, it will grow to 31,764. If I take 31,764 and invest it at the same 12% for 28 more years, it'll grow to 759,000.
All right.
I've got 759 when I retire.
Okay.
On the second annuity, if I invest 10,000 for 10 years, right? At 12%, it'll grow to 175,487.
Okay.
Then to retirement, I have 18 more years, right? Because 5 years for the first annuity, 10 for the second, 15 years are gone. I only have 18 years left, right?
Right.
Only. So I do 18 more years of working, right? And having it grow at 12%. So it grows to 1,350,000 by the end of that. So now what I have is 759,000 plus 1,350,000.
So you do add those.
Yeah, we're going to add them together. Those are 2 separate annuities. You bet. Okay, so now we got $2 million now. Okay? Then the third annuity is 20,000 10 times because our income kept going up, so we kept putting in more, of course. Okay? So now we've got 200,000. That money, 200, what is it going to grow to? At 12% for 10 periods in an annuity, it grows to 350,975. Right? That one is exactly double this one down here on the second annuity because it's double the payment. It's 12% for 10 periods. So notice this factor is the same as that factor, of course. It's 12% 10 periods, right? Okay? So this 350 is double the 175. You good? Okay. So then what we do is we take that 350, 975, and we invest it for 8 periods at 12% because we only have 8 years left to retirement now. Okay? And that'll give us that at 1.12 raised to the 8th here. That's going to give us 869,000. So what you have, this is the number 3, right?
Yes.
How much are we worth now, you guys? Almost $3 million, right? 759 plus 1349 plus 869. But we have 8 more years to invest. So let's do annuity 4. So can you guys do the 4th annuity? Oh, yeah. What do you do? Ordinary annuity payment. how much are we putting in? 30,000? Okay. Maybe our income didn't go up that much. Maybe we got rid of our children. Okay, then you have grandchildren, hopefully. You spend money on them instead. Okay, anyway, so what do we got? Future value. Can't take it with me. An ordinary annuity. How many periods was this one? Oh, it's only 8 periods, so be careful. Look up whatever number of years it really is. I could have made all the years different amounts, right? Different number of years, different interest rate. Okay, interest rate is going to still be 12%, right? We're going to stay in the market. So I'm going to look up the future value of an ordinary annuity factor, this time 8%, right? 12%, 8 periods, I'll say it right. So it's a future value 8 periods from now. So what's the factor?
12.29969.
So we're going to have 12.3 times as much as right? We're going to have $12.30 for every what? $8 we put in. We'll have half again as much, won't we? Everybody agree? Because you're putting $8 in. So what's 30,000? We're not getting $1 12 times. We're getting 30 12 times. Go on. So 30,000 times 12.299969 is what?
368,991.
Now here's the problem with this one. That's what the annuity's worth, right? We treat that as a present value, right? 368,991. But this one we're investing for how long? It's a lump sum now. We're investing for only, we're going to take it times 1 point, what rate are we getting? 12%? You gotta let me do something here I don't want to do. How long are you investing this one for?
You wouldn't do that, would you?
Oh, no, you don't. You
Yeah,
stop.
but it-
Why? That future value at the end of 8 years is how many years out?
Retired.
33, you're retired. How much do you earn on this money before you retire? Nothing. You guys let me do that. There's no more. That's it. So that one's not going to do you much good, is it? So what is the total that we have? Let's add them all up. That's the fourth one, right? Add up 758,647 plus 134,949 plus 869 plus 368,991. And what number did you get?
3 million. Wait, that's 3,904,362. Mine should be a little bit different there because I've rounded differently.
Yeah. Are we close to that? Did you guys do it? Add those four together. See what you get. Real close. We're estimating the future anyway, right? So it doesn't have to be exact, but we want to be in the ballpark. But we're estimating how much your payments are going to, deposits are going to be, estimating how much you're going to earn, estimating how long, everything's an estimate.
I got 3,346,100.
Oh, that's way too far. That's way too far. So what did you do wrong? You've been done a long time. Did we do something wrong, or did you do something wrong? You can see it all sitting right there.
That's like all the same things.
Did you get the first one, 758?
Yeah, first I had.
Did you get the 1,350,000 for the second one?
Wait, the first should have been 790. Shouldn't have.
Oh. 31,764. Did you get that?
Yeah, and that had.
And then you take that for 28 more periods at 12%. Is that 758?
Yeah, 758.
Okay, so that was okay.
Yeah.
Did you get 1,349,000 for the second one?
Yes.
Did you get 869 for the third one?
Yes.
Did you get 369 for the fourth one?
Yep.
Let's add them together again.
But you add the totals, right? Not. You add that plus the interest put into the.
That includes everything. That's everything at the date that you buy the annuity. It's the 759 plus the 1,349,000
I have one.
plus the 869 plus the 369.
Okay, I see what I did.
Is that 3,904,362?
I see what I did.
No.
I actually added that to the original, like the 175, 487.
Oh, you added in the annuities You had in this 350 with it or something, the 31,764, the 175, the 350.
Yeah.
Ah, no, no, no. You see why not?
Mm-hmm.
Because we took that money and invested it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would just add up.
To the total.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
bet.
that's what I did.
Each of the totals, because
I
that's
just
where you're
think
at the end of
that all
33
the
years.
numbers.
So how much was it?
3,346,128.
Okay. So you got $3.3 million when you retire, guys. Now that sounds like a lot, but how much is that going to give you if you retire for 35 years? You only plan on working 33 and then you retire for 35. You know, that's pretty optimistic, isn't it? People are living too long. You'd retire earlier if you didn't live so long. Yeah, this might not be a great thing. Okay, anyway, everybody says they want to live a long time, but I don't know. Depends on the quality of life. But anyway, let's go back if we can find it. Here's what you had, right? Here's what you had when you pulled out the wrong number, but we'll put in the right number now and we'll calculate it. Does that sound good? We'll give it a shot. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to say, all right, I now have a present value at the time I retire, right? This is at the time I retire, at retirement. How much did we just say that was?
346,128.
I know I've got that to invest. I decided I'm going to be conservative, some unknown reason, 8%. For the 35 years I'm going to be retired until I die. We're going to focus 90, okay? You sort of have to guess when you're going to die. By the way, if you buy from an insurance company or something, an annuity, they guess when you're going to die. And that's how much they pay you, right? And then they pay you a real low interest rate. So they take your money, invest at a high interest rate, pay you a low interest rate, and wait for you to die. If you die early, they win. If you die later, they lose. You win. But you have an annuity for the rest of your life. I don't want an annuity for the rest of my life. The insurance company's going to give me 2%. I'm going to be in the stock market earning 12. Right? So either way, probably win, or my kids win. Right? So probably. There's risk. So what's the factor? 8%, 35 periods. Present value of an annuity due, you guys. Right? Because we're going to have these payments at the beginning because we want to take a trip around the world. You like that? How much? What's the factor?
12.58693.
You know, if you divided it by 35 years, you'd find out what you get with zero interest, right? 12 is pretty good, isn't it? So divide 12.58693 into 3346128, and what do you get? How much is your the annuity due payment?
265,841.47.
Okay. And how much were you making at the end? 180,000, and you get to full 267. That's pretty good, isn't it? Even at 8%. This is pretty aggressive investing, though, isn't it? So it's not bad. Okay. And with inflation, of course, you'd invest more. But the horrible reality is when you're pulling the money out, you don't get to invest more with inflation. You just lose. Right? After you retire for those years, it's just going down. Right? So it's not really going to be that much money. What would it be if you took my strategy and you kept investing at 12? Change that number to 12 and what happens? It's really cool. Annuity due payment we'll have over here, okay? That's what we're calculating. We still have the same amount invested, right, guys? We still have the same present value at time 0. 3346128. Everybody agree? That's this one, right? So I know that. Now I'm going to have interest rate, though, of 12%, assuming the market. By the way, the market really earns 13, so it's more, or has. It doesn't really into the future, but it has about 13, so it's even better than this. What's the factor, 12% for 35 years?
9.15656.
Why is it so much less? Because 12% is a lot more interest, right, than 8. So divide that into 3346128, and now all of a sudden I'm a happy camper. How much is that?
365,435.
For what?
35.
You don't have to spend it all, you guys. You can leave some to your kids. It's okay. You don't have to take that much out. It's not going to be an annuity anyway. It's going to be you just take out money out of your retirement when you want it, right? So however much you want to take out whenever you want to take it out. Okay? This is easy, isn't it? After you see it, it's easy. Okay, I want you guys, what's that? Yeah. I did it over and over last semester. You were sick. Really, that was it? Oh, you were injured.
Yeah.
Take it. She was on drugs. I keep forgetting that. She was the one that was on drugs. Yeah. So.
Keep recording it. It's legally prescribed.
What's really terrible is you're a young black woman too, and she's on drugs, and it's a class.
It was legal.
It was legal drugs. It's okay. Sports injury, anyway. Sports injury. Okay. Anyway. So let's try 6. You guys got more time?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to work a while anyway, right? What we're going to do, 6-6, purchase price of the business. That's not bad. This is very similar. Yeah, problem 6-6 on page 328. Do that one, and then we'll jump into it. People at home can pause whenever they want, right?
What page was it?
328.
328.
328.
You got the answer to work out after you had the right present value. Okay. Fell out right out. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's just like separate the numbers out, like add them down like all the way.
That's because you quit thinking in between and just did it. Yeah. It'll get you every time. It's annoying. This there does have a little bit of overlap. They're going good. You want to know how much cash flow there is per year. You want to know the discount rate. What are you calculating? Present value, future value, interest rate, number of periods, annuity payment? What are you calculating?
Present value.
Present value. You want to know how much you're going to pay for it. So the present value of all That's just cash in, right? That's just negative. But the discount rate, the number of periods, it's a breeze. How long do you guys think you're going to be? Getting it? Making progress? Train your mind.
As long as I can get there, you know.
Did you get it?
No, I'm getting
You did get one?
Mhm.
Okay, good. That it goes till what?
6.
Six?
Mhm.
Good. Just take Close?
Yeah. Almost there.
Does this look a lot like the top I just did?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Now you're valuing a business, right? Same stuff. Just cash flows.
12% 20 years. Right. Got the answer.
One answer. Close?
I don't know.
Wait,
Two answers.
basis.
Okay. You got one? Go. Okay.
Let's see.
Great. It'll make the last even more interesting. Only there we have to come up with our own interest rate and discount rate. Not guaranteed. You have to estimate your own cash flows. What's that?
That was not as hard.
No, because it's a problem.
Yeah.
But understanding what you're doing and being able to do it in real life, this is really helpful. Okay? What's nice about this is it's giving you all the information you need to do the problem. What's hard about real life is you have to come up with your stuff. Yeah. Good. That's what's valuable. You can program a computer to do an Excel spreadsheet. You can program it to do an Excel spreadsheet. Stuff just doesn't work out. But you got much to do it. What interest rate?
MCM canceled tomorrow.
They were going to have a get together with me.
I mean, it's understandable because
What's
everything
that
is
negative
probably going to freeze
25?
over tomorrow.
Yeah. So why risk people's lives if then you can do it later? Was that the leadership thing you were doing?
No, it's just like a good idea.
Good. Are we using decent turn on?
Yeah, that's the test we did.
Really?
It's not as good as fall semester.
Well, of course, it's not on this fall semester.
Good jobs. Yeah, because people interviewing for all. Still.
Question.
Except for the sophomores and freshmen. Yeah.
What about the application and everything for the, whatchamacallit, one of the leadership programs, BKD?
Oh,
Like, when are we supposed to hear back from?
when they get around to it.
Because I know they
They'll
were
notify
supposed to be having interviews this week, but that obviously got
Yeah.
canceled. But
It's always, well, they got enough things to do, you know. So, they'll get to it probably just in time to tell you, hey, really, come on. So, happens a lot. That happens a lot. And if you don't hear from, and other people are, then you can bring it over. You know what I mean? Yeah, they might have lost yours, but I doubt it. You know what I mean? So, odds are. So are we ready? Okay, so how'd you approach this? It says, during the past year, Stacy McGill planted a new vineyard on 150 acres that she leases for $30,000 a year. Okay, she's leasing it for $30,000 a year. What's that? It's always $30,000. That's if we assume the interest rate doesn't change. What does she have? Cash out, $30,000 every year. It's an annuity. It is, isn't it? Right? She's leasing it. She probably pay the payment up front or at the end. A lease.
It's at the end of the year, each year.
The end of each year? Is that when lease payments are made? Does it tell you?
No.
So what would you think? She leases for $30,000 a year. She's added to their account that assists determine the value of her vineyard operation. Is that part of the value? What do you guys do with the $30,000? Nothing.
Because aren't you trying to determine your revenues to figure out how much you would worth?
No. What is she valuing? The business.
The business itself, not the lease.
Is the lease part of the business? No.
It is a revenue, I guess.
Well, wait a minute.
It's not a revenue.
She's paying the lease.
Oh, she's paying. Oh, she's leased it.
Ah.
How can she sell it if it's not hers then? If she's leasing it?
Oh, well, if whoever's leasing the property to them would let somebody else assume the lease, which is what it says down at the bottom.
So it's like she has a 40-year lease on it.
Yeah, and there's 30 years left. Is that what it is? Or no, it's $30,000 for 40 years, right? So they're going to assume that lease payment. So are they going to pay her for that, or are they going to pay the people they're leasing it from? Oh, she can't sell the lease, can she?
That's what
I'm just messing with you. The $30,000 lease payment is going to go to the owners of the land. It is now. It will continue to. Is that part of her value of the business? No. Right? That's going to be an additional cost for the people buying the business because they have to pay the $30,000 lease payment, don't they? So should we include it or not?
Probably should.
It's interesting, isn't it? But they're not going to pay her for it. So what they're going to pay her doesn't include that, but what they're going to pay out does. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But when they
Yeah.
factor that in, they're going to have to pay the...
Yeah, for their total cost, it should be in there. You bet. For their total cost and whether or not they're making you money, it
So
should be
what
in
it's
there.
worth, you would include it.
Yeah, so, what do you think? He's going to buy it from her. What is the minimum price she should accept? What she should accept doesn't include that, but what he's expected to pay does.
30,000.
That makes this harder than it looks, huh? Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because the money's not going to her. He's not going to give her that money, right?
Yeah.
Okay? All right, but it does enter into whether or not he's making any money. Okay, it says the vineyard will bear no grapes for the first 5 years, right? In the next 5, so how much is the revenue for the first 5 years? Zero. So what we could do is we could do revenues and expenses, and what we really care about is cash revenues and cash expenses, right? So if you had accounts receivable and you had accounts payable and accrued liabilities, you'd have to figure out what the real cash flow was each year. Because you care about cash flows for present value of cash flows, right? But we assume they're all for cash, okay? So we're going to get revenues and expenses, and then the net is what I think I'd do. So cash in. This is cash in. This is cash out. Did you do something like this? You don't have to do it this way. And this is net cash flow, right? Something along those lines. And you can either do it by year, or you can do it by groups of years. You can do each of the annuities separately, however you want to do it. So the revenues from years 0 times 0 to when? 5, the first 5 years? Is 0, right? Now that's an annuity, but we don't have to value it. You know what you know what it's worth. Okay? Then what is there? Year 6, and we assume it's at the end of the year to be conservative, probably. It'd probably be spread during the year, but be conservative. 6 through what? 10. Okay, so the second 5 years. How much revenue?
60,000 each year.
60,000. Okay, what else? Whoops, 60,000. So then what else do we have?
Yeah. The next 40 years.
Okay, so 60,000 per year. And then so year 11 through 30, I guess? How much?
110,000.
Okay. So these are all positive cash flows. Everybody agree with that? And then is there anything after that?
Yeah, 31 for 40, so the last 10,
How much?
80,000.
80,000 goes down. And then we rip everything out, and we have a whole bunch of costs associated with that. And we start over with a new orchard, or rather, new thing, okay? Orchards, trees, or grapevines, or whatever. Okay, so we're gonna get a lot of revenue out of this, huh? You can add all that up if you want. Total revenue's big, isn't it? 60 times 5 plus 110 times 20 plus 80 times 10. There's a lot of revenue coming. You guys agree with that?
Mhm.
So we're going to value all those cash flows in. What about cash out?
Well, you have 9,000 the first 5 years,
Okay, the first 5 years is 9,000 cash out.
along with your at least 5 years of lease.
Okay, now if we're valuing it from his perspective, not what he's giving her,
Oh,
we
okay.
put it in.
Well, okay, never mind.
So maybe we should do it both ways, right?
Mhm.
What is it a good deal for him at all? But let's see what he should pay her,
Okay.
right? Just for the grapes, because that's all he's buying from her, right?
Right.
Okay. So the net, is that everything for the first 5 years? He only has, so it's 9,000 out. So negative cash flows, that's an annuity of $9,000 negative for 5 years. You guys agree?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what happens to your 6 to 10?
Well, actually, it says 6 to 40, you have 12,000, so
Okay,
it's
all of these are 12,000 out.
here.
Is that everything?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then what we'd say, if you want to treat them as separate annuities, which would probably make the most sense, don't you think, because they're different amounts, I think I do a 5-year annuity at negative 9,000. Then I do a 5-year annuity of positive 48. Is that what that is? 60 less 12. We are on problem 6.6 on page 328.
328.
Yeah. Okay, and then 110 less 12 is 102. No, whoops, 98. 98. Where I go, 102. 80 less 12 is 68. Okay, those are the annuities. Those are the net cash flows. Is there anything else?
Is that what that last column is net cash flow?
Yeah, net. Net cash. So cash in, cash out. Net cash flow. All of a sudden, this isn't as complex as it looks, is it? What's my interest rate? These are 4 different annuities, aren't they? And we're assuming all the cash flows at the end of the year, so ordinary annuities?
Yeah.
Sound good? So these are all going to be ordinary annuities. So these are ordinary annuity payments. Everybody agree? Ordinary annuity payments. After that problem I just had you do that I made up, this is nothing, huh? Ordinary annuity payments, okay? And then, and this is, we're receiving it, so I just want to know its present value now, right? That makes sense? Okay. This you would have to pay out, he's going to have to pay out, and these he's going to receive. Okay. So for each of these, I would like to calculate.
Wouldn't you take 9 out of each of those also?
What's that?
Oh wait, no, because that's after. Okay, never mind. I said when you take the 9 out, but I forgot it doesn't.
I think it's
after 0 to 5, and you don't.
yeah, yeah. If you're bringing it back to now with all of them, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So when's the present value going to be on each of these? This is going to be a present value when? At time 0. When's the second present value going to be? At time 5, beginning of year 6, and then at time 10, beginning of year 11, and then at time 30, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to have to discount those again, aren't we? You guys agree with me? So we're getting present values of the annuities right now. Okay? What's the interest rate?
12%.
For all of them. Okay? For all the way down. Everybody agree? What's the number of periods on this one? 5. What's the number of periods on this one? 5. What's the number of periods on this one? 20. It's different, isn't it? What's the number of periods on the last one? 10. There you go. All right. Look up your factors, right? Interest rate 12% for 5 periods. What's that factor? Or you can use your calculator, of course. Faster. And that's going to be a negative one, right? So what is that factor? Let's use the factors. Focus at home.
3.604.
3.60478.
Yeah.
What's the factor going to be for the second one, seeing as it's 5 periods at 12%?
Same thing.
Same one. Just multiply the two of them together, right? What's 9,000 times 3.60478?
32,443.
32,443, and make sure you keep your brackets around that. That's negative cash out, right, in the early years. Lots of businesses, the cash out is in the early years, the cash in is in later years. Which dollars are worth more? The early ones, rub, wrong way, didn't it? What's 48 times 3.60478? What's that one worth? What do you think? You might have done it in a different order in these, it doesn't matter.
173,029.
029?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That was 98,000. Oh, we got 20 periods. 20 periods at 12%, how much is that?
7.46944.
Okay, what's worth $7.47? 20 bucks is, right? Dollar a period at the end of each period. So take 7.46944 times 98,000. How much is that? $732,005. You guys good? That's a 7. We'll figure it out. Okay, excellent. 732,005. And then 68,000. What's the one for in is 10? Back.
5.65022.
022?
Yep.
Okay. 5.65022 times 68,000 is how much?
Um, 384,214. 0.967.
384.
214. 215, right? Well,
Uh,
technically 215.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. 384,215. All right. So now what do you want to do? Now these are present values at different times, right?
Yeah.
When is the first one? This is at time 0, so this is a present value at time 0. But when is this one? This is at the end of the 5th year, right? You guys with me? This one is at the end of the 10th year, beginning of the 11th, right? When's the last one?
The answer is 40.
Yeah, end of the 30th, right? Beginning of the 31st.
Yeah.
So what do you have to do with each of those? Discount them, okay? So let's make this annuity 1, annuity 2, annuity 3, just to keep it straight, annuity 4. Got the idea? Let's do 1. Let's say we've got 33,443 at the beginning of year 1. What are you going to do to that one? Nothing. It's 33,443. We don't get to discount that one, do we? So there's the first one, okay?
32.
Oh, well, I just mess everything up like always. 32,443, thank you. Now what do you want to do for the second one? I got to discount it for how long? 5 years, don't I?
Yeah.
173,029 times what? 1 over 1.12 raised to the 5th. You guys agree with that? You can look up the factor for a sum, 12%, 5 periods. What is that factor? What's 1 over 1.12 raised to the 5th? What is that? What are you sure those dollars worth? How much is that? 5 periods, 12%, present value of sum table. See, it's kind of cool to look back and forth at those tables and you sort of get intuitively in your head what the number should be, and then you use your calculator and yeah, that's what it is. You're going to get used to it. How much is that?
It's 1.76234.
76234. So a dollar received 5 periods from now, discounted at 12% is worth 76 cents right now.
1.7.
Ooh, wrong table.
Okay. You said, oh.
We want a present value of a sum. It's got to be less than 1. Aren't dollars received in the future worth less than now?
My bad, I have.
Yeah, because we're calculating a present value. So what we're saying is, we now, this is really a future value at times 5, right? And we want to get the present value at times 0. That's what we're doing here. Okay? This one was a present value at times 0. Okay? So what is the factor again?
0.567.
Oh, that looks better. 5, 6, 7, 4, 3? Yeah. So a dollar received 5 periods from now, discounted 12% is only worth 57 cents right now, right? So take 0.56743 times the 173 you got, and you'll be back to what it's worth now, huh? So I got this one, and now I'm going to have this one. All right, same deal that we did on the retirement thing, really. What is this going to be?
98,182.
All right, and then 3. What do you do? 30. 32. 005 times 1 over 1.12. Now what this is a future value at the end of 10 years, is it?
Yep.
All right, and how many years are we going to discount it for? 10 years, right? Get back to now. Is that right? So what's the factor for 10 periods at 12%?
0.32197.
Each one of those dollars is only worth 32 cents. Oh man, this is really deceptive, isn't it? Money's not money. So what's 732 times 0.32197?
235,686.
Okay, we got it. And then 4. It's the future value when? 30 periods from now, right? 30, isn't it? How much was that? 384. 215. Everybody agree? Are you staying with me? Times, it's that one right there, right? We're just taking each of those. 1 over 1.12 raised to the what? Did we do that right? I don't think we discounted the second one right. We brought it back to when?
Not 10, it's 20, not 10.
The second one was 20. The first one we do for 5. The second one we do for 10. No, the third one's 30. That's right. That's right, it's 30. Because you're right. We're at the end of year 30 for this one. We're at the end of year 10 for this one. We're at the end of year 5 for that one. That's right. Okay, it just looked funny, didn't it? Okay, so we're going to do it for 30 years, huh? Okay, and we got the total amount of years there, don't we? 30 plus 10 plus 5, and then the first one was 5. So we got it. What's that factor? That's tiny.
Yeah. 0.03338.
Those dollars aren't worth much. How much is it in today's dollars?
12,825.
Man, I didn't know how much did it. That's all those are worth. So the later ones aren't worth much out of 12%. That's high risk level, right?
So why would you do that at 30? Because it seems like you would do it at 40 almost. Because at the end of year 30, you wouldn't have realized all those.
You already discounted it for 10 years. When you discounted the annuity, you discounted it for 10, back to the beginning of year 30. So now you only have 30 more years to discount. That would be a total of 40 years. Right? We discounted it for 10 years because it's a 10-year annuity. So here we discounted for 10 years, right?
Okay, so up
And then we're discounting it for another 30.
Okay, okay.
And the earlier one, the one right before that, we had discounted for 20, and then we discounted it for another 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay? And the one before that, we discounted for 5, and we needed to discount it for 5 more. And the one before that, we discounted at 5, but that brought it back to times 0, right? The first 5 years. Okay? So what do we do to get the total value of this thing so far? Negative 32 positive 98, positive 235, and positive 12. Add those all together, right? And that's what the orchard is worth before what?
The lease.
The lease. Okay, so here we go. How much is all that worth? Present value of the cash flows of the business. Which is how much he'd pay for it before he considers his lease payment, right? But doesn't she have to pay it if she keeps it, or he has to pay it
He has
if
to
he
pay
takes
it
it?
if he takes it.
Yeah, okay. So how much is this? It's pretty positive, isn't
What
it?
if he-
98, 182 plus 2, it's 98, 182 plus 235, 686 plus 12, 825 less 32, 443. How much is that?
314,248.
Now, if you were him, would you give her that much money?
No,
No, she can't expect that much money. Why?
with the lease. Yeah.
We do have to include that lease, don't we? You guys agree? I'd like you to tell me you didn't, but don't we have to?
Yeah.
It's got to be paid. It's part of the cost of the business. Whether she pays it or he pays it, it's still going to be part of the cost of the business. If she keeps the business, she's going to get all these revenues instead of him, right? If he buys it, you know, it was he and she, wasn't it? Okay, anyway. So what do you want to do here? Let's get the present value at time 0 of the lease. Okay, let's do that. And then we'll subtract the lease, okay? This is going to be present value of the lease. And we will subtract it from the 314. And that's how much I think he'd be willing to pay, right? Purchase price. How come there's no R's in my purchase? Never are. Okay. Students are always asking me, principals, what's purchase? Okay, anyway, so Southern twang, I guess. Okay. What do we got? Annuity payment, ordinary annuity due. I think it's a lease. I think it comes up front. I don't know. Did they say in the problem about it?
No.
Let's assume
They
annuity
did.
due. I can't remember what
They
it is.
did it ordinary, because I checked the answer.
They did?
Yeah, they
They're
did.
wrong. Who takes a lease payment at the end of the year?
Yeah, I checked the answer, I got it right when I did within ordinary.
Okay. Don't you think it's an annuity due, probably? You'd have to make a judgment if you had a problem like this, wouldn't you? They should have told you in the problem. It's either at the beginning or the end. Do you pay your rent before the month or at the end of the month? Before.
So the-
Yeah, everybody pays before. Unless you pay more rent, you can pay at the end, but they trust you for it, but not for a whole year. I don't believe that. I think this is an annuity due payment. So let's calculate it different than the author did, right? So when you look it up in the answer book, guess what? You get the same answer. Annuity due payment times what? What's our payment anyway? 30,000? How many times are we doing it?
For 40 years.
40 years. What's in? 40. Okay. And then what's I?
Well,
I guess 12%. That's how risky the business is, I guess. Okay. You could use different interest rates for different things if you want, by the way. Okay, be all right. How much is that? That factor. The present value of an annuity due, right? So I'm going to take this payment times that factor, and I'm going to get the present value. What are those 40 payments worth now?
9.23303.
233.
03.
Okay. So what's 30,000 times 9.23303?
276,991.
Okay, this is ugly, isn't it? What's the business worth?
37,259.
And if you consider that an ordinary annuity, what was the business worth? More, right?
Yeah, 66,937.
Why would it be worth 30,000 more? Payments at the end. A lot of interest. So if the payments, you would care, wouldn't you? If you were calculating this, would you care if the payments are at the beginning or the end? Oh, yeah, big time. Okay? So it looks like it's really valuable, but it's horrible. I want to do one more thing with you guys. This is hilarious. Tell me what the total revenues are for the whole time, less the total expenses to include the lease, and tell me what the net income is before tax on this deal. Without discounting it, what is it?
Without discounting.
Yeah, don't discount anything. Just what is it? What is it going to be on the financial statements? How much income is it going to look like this thing made? So what do you need to do? You get nothing in revenues for 5 years. You get 60,000 for 5. That looks like 300 grand to me. Then for 20 years, you get 110. What's that? 2,200,000. And then you get 80 for another 10 years, is it? It's another 800,000. What's your total revenues? See what I'm doing?
3,300,000.
Is that what it was? Everybody get that?
How did you get that?
Just add up all the.
It's the first 5 years, no revenue. 6 to 10, 60,000 a year is 600. Right? 11 through 30 is 20 years at 110. That's 2,000,002. So now we're 2,000,008. Is that right?
Yeah.
Did I say it right? 600 plus 2,000,002. And then the last 10 years is 80, another 800. How much is that? 2,000,002. 3,000,000. 3,000,006, isn't it? Oh no, it's 5 years at 60.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, 3,000,003. You're right. 3,000,003.
Yes, they're nice.
Okay. What's the expense going to be? 9,000 for 5 years and 12,000 for 30 years. What's 12,000 times 30?
360,000.
Yeah, 360,000 there. Everybody agree with that? And then 9,000 for 5 is another 45, right?
405,000.
405. Then what do we need to pick up besides that? The lease.
The lease.
How much is the lease?
30,000.
For 40 years. Is that 1,000,002? Add those three together. What do you get?
1,605,000.
And what's the net income before taxes?
1,695,000.
Oh, this is a good deal, isn't it? No, it's not. Well, actually, it is. Here's the deal. If you paid 200, or you paid 37,000 for this thing, you'd earn 12%, right? That's a nice return. But do you suppose she thinks her business is only worth 37,000? Not if it's going to earn 1,695,000 over its life. Are you kidding me? You're going to give me only 37,000 for 1,695,000, and the answer to that is yes, at a 12% discount rate. That's all it's worth. Got it? Hard to get your head around, isn't it? How can 1,000,007 over 40 years only be worth $37,000? But it is. It's a 12% discount rate. How important is it to get the right discount rate? Oh man, 10% this would be a lot more valuable. 14% this would be worthless. Negative value, right? You don't want it. So estimating that discount rate is really important. And also estimating how much cash and when is really important, right? And everybody does this. You take out your crystal ball, you guess. So you want to take, a 10-minute break, 5-minute break? These guys have been sitting here for a long time. You got to go anyway? What do you have now? Practice now. You had class before. Or you ate before, or something.
To work.
Or you have to work for.
Work study.
We will record the later session too.
Okay.
You can watch it in the middle of the night. That'll be great. Can you stick around? Just got here. Yeah. You guys gonna stick around a while longer? Yeah. Let's take a break though, huh? So you can clear your head a little bit. Go get some caffeine. So we'll stop this. Save it and we'll do another one. I think we're gonna stop.
What are your odds on school tomorrow?